Alright, so Quantum Break finally released today, it being April 5th, 2016. And this video will probably be uploaded on the 6th because I'm recording this pretty late. It's like 9 p.m. Pacific time right now as I'm recording this video. And you know, with the rendering and uploading and shit, that shit takes time. So it'll likely be tomorrow when this video gets finally uploaded. But with that being said, basically this video is about me not getting Quantum Break. Yes, I know I planned on getting it and whatnot, but you guessed it, Windows Store is really the reason why I'm not fucking getting this. It doesn't have really anything to do with the game as the gameplay itself, because the game looks amazing. I like the way the game looked, but I don't want to support the Windows Store. I really don't. That is one thing I really fucking hate right now. I just don't want to fucking support that piece of shit. It is worse than games for Windows Live. And I came to realization of this through the night of release, because for one, this game wasn't even on the store until it was actually ready to release, and it didn't release until 6 a.m. the day of release, which is fucking stupid in itself. Now, me being in Pacific time, games usually release around Eastern time, 12 a.m. and whatnot, going into the next day and shit. So I would normally see a game, say for instance on Steam or Good Old Games or Origin or Uplay, you know, all the main ones. I'll usually see the game that releases come out at 9 p.m. my time, because 12 o'clock, you know, it's a 3-hour difference between Pacific and Eastern, so their 12 is my 9. So I expected to see the game up there by then. Nothing was up there. And mind you, the Windows Store does not support pre-orders and doesn't support preload, which is another strike, especially in the digital age of gaming. Why the fuck don't you have that in your shit? You're the newest platform when it comes to running games and supporting games and shit, and you don't have a preload feature. That lets you know off the bat that this shit was not designed to run AAA titles. This was designed to run mini apps and mobile apps on a computer, and to fucking no one's surprise, this shit is just not working out how it's supposed to, and I'm not gonna support it. I'm just not, especially after dealing with what I went through with Gears of War Ultimate Edition. If you want to hear that rant, go and check out my last video, because I was pissed off about that shit. But anyway, I waited till 12 a.m. after it didn't release at 9 p.m. I'm like, okay, maybe they're going on a different time zone. Bam, it's still not in the store. Still not in the store. I wait more hours. It's still not in the fucking store. It's like 2 a.m. at this point, and I guess Remedy finally decided to release a statement stating that the game will not release until 6 a.m. Pacific time for Quantum Break to be in the goddamn Windows Store, which is the first time I've ever seen some shit like that. How do you have to come out and tell me the exact time that a game releases on its release date? That makes no fucking sense. Now, I'm not blaming Remedy, I'm blaming Microsoft for this shit, because the Windows Store is likely the biggest problem and the reason why this shit even fucking happened like this. I know what you're saying, that's not really a big issue, you know what I'm saying, especially if you're someone who's getting the game later after the release date. It's really not an issue to you at all, but it is to us who want the game preloaded and whatnot and ready to go, so when it releases we can jump in and get to work on the fucking game. Now mind you, as all this shit was going on, I'm gonna say from 12 a.m. to 6 a.m. Some people were able to get the game early, were able to see it in the Windows Store, I'm guessing, but they got early copies, earlier than when everybody else got their copies, basically is what I'm saying, and they gave their first impressions. And the first impression I saw was that the game ran like shit. It ran, they compared it to Arkham Knight on PC, which was one of the most abysmal game launches period in the history of PC gaming. That shit was a fucking disaster when it launched. It's great now, the game runs great now, but it's sad because I don't even think it's being sold now in the Steam store because of how devastating that launch was. That's how bad it was, if you weren't around for that. So when I saw that, I was like, no, fuck you. I already dislike the Windows Store. I'm not gonna participate in this and just basically throw 60 bucks in the drain. So at that point I was like, I don't know if I get the fucking game anymore. And mind you, the guy who was saying that it was running like shit was running a GTX 980, and he was saying he couldn't achieve more than 30 frames most of the time in that game at 1080p, which is ridiculous because that is a high-end card. Now I move on and see some Twitch streams popping up of the PC version, and for the most part the game is looking good. It was looking really good. The only gripe I really seen was seen with my own two eyes during the stream was the cutscenes, the episode long cutscenes. You know, Quantum Break has cutscenes that are optional, but they're like episodes. They run like TV show episodes, and they got some actors for that shit. It looked like a real TV show. But these cutscenes would run choppy all the way through, and that was mostly due because these cutscenes are streamed. These episodes are basically streamed. That's why the game is online at all times, because it's streamed. And to Remedy's defense, that sort of makes sense to put all of these long episodes through streaming rather than in the game, because that an episode in HD, especially the quality they were presenting, would have been a huge file size per video, and I think there's like 5 episodes during the game. That shit would have been huge, and the game would have just grew in size, and it's already big. It's damn near 50 fucking gigs on its own. So they streamed that, and that's pretty much why I'm thinking there was choppiness in that, because as far as the gameplay ran smooth, man. It looked pretty good. And those were from the streams that I saw. Now these streams had 980 Ti's, and then I ran into one with a GTX 970 and i7 4790K, which is my exact setup. So I'm looking at this stream and I'm like, man, this shit running cool too. So what the fuck was the guy in the beginning talking about? Basically, I'm guessing he had something running in the background, because as the night went on, after I saw those streams and went back to the same guy who's saying he's had these problems, they cleared up for him. First, they just miraculously cleared up. I'm guessing he had something running in the background that he didn't know of. Maybe a video in HD was running on mute and he didn't know it was running. I've done that multiple times, and I blame the game and shit when it was really my fault. So it is what it is on that situation. For the most part, from what I've seen and what I've seen streamers say during their stream, the game runs pretty cool on PC. Nothing amazing, but runs good and not as shitty as Gears of War Ultimate Edition. Hope it ain't that fucking bad. But as I'm seeing, the game is running okay on PC and whatnot. But as that time for me to think went on, 12 to 6 a.m., because I know there are problems within the Windows Store like VSync. There is no VSync on any game in the Windows Store. You can't turn it on or off, and you can't force VSync through your application of your video card. Say if you have AMD Radeon, I think Crimson, or if you have NVIDIA's 3D control panel, you can't set a VSync, because all these games that run through Windows Store are encrypted. You can't do shit about it. You can't change any INI. You can't do anything with the file that you just spent your fucking money on. And that is the biggest problem I have with this fucking Windows Store platform shit. You can't use your game as it's your game. You have to use it as if you're renting the shit. And that is bad business. That is not, that just takes away the freedom of PC gaming. Because if you look at a game like GTA 5 or The Witcher 3 or any game that is not released in Windows Store, you can edit the INI files if you feel that something you don't want is in there. Say for instance the VSync is on and you don't have a setting in the game to turn it off. You can go into INI files and disable it and whatnot. There's always an option for that in INI files. You can't even access the INI files through Windows Store, and that bugs me. And on top of that, for content creators like myself, it makes it harder with this DRM, whatever they have over their games, to actually create content off of this shit, like recording. Half the time, Shadowplay can't even record Windows Store games. It just can't. It doesn't. It'll show up as a black screen whether I have it running in desktop mode or regular full screen mode. It'll just fucking not even record anything but a black screen. I don't know how I got lucky and recorded that Gears of War gameplay a while back, but I did somehow get that on Shadowplay, and that shit was, I was happy as fuck when that happened. I was like, God damn, thank you. But it shouldn't even have to be that difficult. You know what I'm saying? They want everything done through their applications. They want you to have to use the DVR to stream and record. They want you to have to rely on Windows Store to tweak your settings and whatnot when there's no tweaking in Windows Store to begin with. They want you to have to rely on their program for shit that you bought, shit that you should have the freedom to run on, and I'm not with that bullshit. So I basically decided at the last minute, you know what, fuck this Windows Store bullshit, and tell you guys either fix this shit or release this game on another platform, or I get an Xbox One. I'm not fucking with the Windows Store, because a Gears of War Ultimate Edition really set me off, and I've been pissed ever since, and it's carrying over into Quantum Break. I don't want to dish $60 to somebody who doesn't give a fuck about PC gaming. You know what I'm saying? That's how I view it. So I'm going to take this 60 and do something I needed to do for a minute, which is buy a PS4 controller for my PC so I can be ready for Dark Souls 3 when that launches in about a fucking week or two. God damn it. That's how I'm going to look at it. Quantum Break, I'm not judging the game. It looks awesome for the game that it is, but what it's running on at least for the Windows platform, on this Windows Store bullshit, I'm not having any of it. I don't like it. I don't even want it on my computer, but it has to be because I'm running Windows 10, so it's just there. So basically, fuck Windows Store, Quantum Break. I'll see you sometime later, man. I'm gonna play you. I know you're a good game, probably. I'll see your ass probably on Xbox One, or if they end up fixing half the problems that's going on with this piece of shit Windows Store. Anyway, if you enjoyed the game, if you bought it and you enjoyed the game running through Windows Store, tell me your thoughts in the comment section below. Give me your input on how you feel about Windows Store as a whole, even if you got the game or not. Just how you feel about Windows Store, period. I think it's horrible for PC gamers. I think it shouldn't even fucking exist. It's worse than games for Windows Live. It's just fucking abysmal. I don't like it. But anyway, those are just my thoughts. You don't have to agree with them. This is iDoc Life. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, check out my last video. And if you don't like the video, well, fuck it. I'm out. Peace. And when I get into this video, I'm not talking about the quality of the game or anything. I'm talking about solely the performance of it. Microsoft, please do not fuck this up with your Windows Store shit. You know, Windows 10 only operating type games. I understand why it's Windows 10 operated only for direct.